I just want to remind all of them, speaking to you, Mr. Speaker, that tax cuts are expenditures.
There's going to be no hiding, Mr. Speaker. We all know when this board lights up what the consequences are. And why do we say there's going to be a golden era in this country? We're securing our border in this bill, too. We're opening up American energy in this bill. Everywhere from the North Slope of Alaska to, yes, the Gulf of America, where President Biden had shut down American energy. He green-lighted Russia's Nord Stream pipeline so Russia could produce their energy, funding billions of dollars to go fund their war against Ukraine. But in America, we were shut down.
Did you catch that reaction? Because that face said everything. Right from the jump, you can see the shift. This isn't just another speech. This is a full-on takedown. What you're watching is Steve Scalise stepping onto the House floor and completely dismantling the playbook of the Nancy Pelosi era. This isn't debate. It's precision. Every point lands. And this isn't just talk. This is someone who's literally paid a price for this country, now calling out what he sees as broken: energy policies, runaway spending, and a system that's losing touch with everyday workers. He goes straight at the big issues: energy independence, government spending, and the frustration a lot of people feel watching their tax dollars disappear while costs keep rising. And here's the part that stands out. There's no fluff, no dancing around it, just direct, unapologetic arguments that force the room to sit still and listen. If you've been questioning where all the money is going while everyday expenses keep climbing, this is the kind of moment that hits. Let's break down the full clip and see exactly how Scalise makes his case and why it's getting so much attention.
Speak because I hear you members on the other side talking about spending on the part of the Democrats, spending for education and health care, and all the needs of food for our children. I just want to remind all of them, speaking to you, Mr. Speaker, that tax cuts are expenditures. They're the biggest spending in this bill, to the tune of $5 trillion. $5 trillion added to the national debt to give tax cuts to the wealthiest people in the country at the expense of feeding our children, health care for our people, and the education of our children. And nothing brings more money to the Treasury than the education of the American people, from early childhood to lifetime learning and every phase of it in between. So you should be ashamed of yourselves to mock spending on education. The best dollar we spend is on educating the American people and the investments in scientific research, the biblical power to cure that science provides for us, cut in this bill, to spend $5 trillion for the wealthiest people in America. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
There's going to be no hiding, Mr. Speaker. We all know when this board lights up what the consequences are. And why do we say there's going to be a golden era in this country? We're securing our border in this bill, too. We're opening up American energy in this bill. Everywhere from the North Slope of Alaska to, yes, the Gulf of America, where President Biden had shut down American energy. He green-lighted Russia's Nord Stream pipeline so Russia could produce their energy, funding billions of dollars to go fund their war against Ukraine. But in America, we were shut down. We open it up in this bill, Mr. Speaker. American workers get to produce American energy, not just for America. It's going to lower the price at the pump. Again, you're a middle-income family. The billionaire doesn't care what the cost of gasoline is. You know who does? That waitress making $32,000 a year saves that tip money. Maybe she can go on a trip and get in her car and drive and afford the gasoline now because we'll be producing more. We actually have lease sales in this bill for once, so we can produce energy in America. We have great natural resources. We just had them shut down for 4 years by an administration that said no to American energy, said yes to other countries' energy. Iran was able to sell their oil on world markets thanks to the previous administration. That party's over. And when America starts producing more energy, not only does it help lower the price for families here in America, not only does it create great jobs here in America, but all the bad guys around the world, Russia, Iran, Venezuela, you name your country, they're not going to have a cartel-like exclusive license on global energy anymore, because America's going to be back in the game. Let's get this country back in the game. Let's get this country back on track. Let's actually promote opportunity in the American dream again for anybody who wants it. You want to work? There's going to be more opportunity than you've ever had before. If you're disabled on Medicaid right now, you've been crowded out of those programs by people turning down work. Able-bodied people, 35-year-olds sitting at home playing video games. They're going to now have to go get a job. That's right. And by the way, that's a good thing for them. Their mom doesn't want them sitting in the basement playing video games anyway. But now it no longer will be crowding out Medicaid for the truly needy people who deserve it. The disabled people will not be getting crowded out of those programs by people who can actually go get a job, and there are going to be a lot of great jobs, Mr. Speaker, a lot of great jobs in this country. America's coming back. You can vote no all day long, and you can hide behind billionaires all day long, but we're going to keep moving forward because this country doesn't sit down in the fetal position. America's ready for a rebirth, and we're going to deliver it. President Trump is at the helm now. It's a new day. World leaders know it. The bad guys know it around the world. But you know what? Those hardworking families who have been waiting for this relief for a long, long time are finally going to realize help is on the way, because Republicans in Congress, any Democrats that want to join, Mr. Speaker, are free to, but they're bragging that they don't want to be a part of this. But you know what? The hardworking families of America are hungry for this kind of change. Take power away from Washington, give it back to the people, and watch what happens. Great things are ahead for this country. Greatest country in the history of the world. We are finally going to give and restore that great American dream and that hope for those families who have been waiting way too long. That help is coming. We're going to pass this bill. President Trump's going to sign it. It's going to be a great 4th of July. Let's pass the bill, Mr. Speaker. I yield back to balance my time.
That was brutal in the best way. Can we take a second to appreciate the fire Steve Scalise just brought? That wasn't a speech, that was a dismantling. Let's break it down. Right out of the gate, Nancy Pelosi goes back to that same old script, calling tax cuts expenditures. Think about that. The idea that your money belongs to the government first, and letting you keep more of it is somehow spending. That mindset alone tells you everything. Then she pivots to investing in education, while the system struggles and bureaucracy keeps growing. It sounds good, but does it match reality? But the real hammer drop? Energy. Scalise goes straight at it. How does it make sense to rely on foreign energy while restricting domestic production? That contradiction hits hard, and it's where the argument really lands. And then he brings it back to everyday people, not talking points, real impact, rising costs, tighter budgets, and the pressure people feel just trying to keep up. He even steps into the welfare debate, one of those topics most people in D.C. avoid. Work requirements, resource allocation, and accountability. Agree or disagree, he's saying the quiet part out loud. Meanwhile, you can feel the shift in the room. Pelosi, usually in control, suddenly looks like she's on the defensive, watching the narrative slip. That's why this moment stands out. It's loud, it's direct, and it doesn't apologize for putting American workers and energy front and center. So what's your take? Was Scalise on point, or are you siding with Pelosi's approach?